I pray where Eve did to Adam, I just pray my love don't lie to me. Swing the iron like Samson, I can't let no holder lie to me. I don't feel these rappers, all they lies is hypocrisy. Ain't no competition, ain't no rivalry. Niggas think I'm playing, I don't hear one word they saying, this shit light work. Think Muhammad one of us, he might lose his life first. Circle up and stay alert, another cop can stretch the nigga. He ain't demon, it's an exorcism, watch I bless the nigga. You took that oath in blood, then you know I'm gon' get active with you. From the opposition, I see vision, let me paint the picture. Rappers can they spin, I ain't listening, is in fact if revenge was a woman, I scope that bitch like Jake. So Tower War, we gon' run the summer, it's gon' be historical. Thought they making plays, made them niggas call the audible. Ask who run this shit, but that question is rhetorical. Bitch, I'm the one, me cookies with the oil. I'ma get them crack as hell, should've never kidnapped my family. I can't do that, bet I be the last nigga standing. Do a life sentence for my niggas, pray you understand me. I might put a switch on this Glock and call it young pay. How you real trigger know them dots, you a bird feeder. Claiming he a demon, what's a demon to a cold leader? When he saying something, I ain't hear him, this shit life. It ain't about who got the gun, it's about who gon' up that fight first. I turn a bad situation to a game change. Bring soldiers from the dead, just raised up the chains. Free shots, I'ma look like Aaron Jones when I run it. Never bite the hand and feet, so you won't never get that hand back. He bitching about 10%, I don't wanna hear none of that. He dropping sword, fuck him, just make sure you get that cover back. Look around, he ain't with us, probably cause he never was. Now my chin like you with the angels for your brothers. Everybody won't be Richard Porter, God kill him like Alpo. Play if he want, it's laying in the trunk like Lee Malvo. A certified rubber ass nigga, I am not a toy. Hey, out with that hollow son, yeah, this the real McCoy. Feel like Gullah Jack when I'm in Fairview, you feel your boy. Still up on my brain, still I think that's all that I do. The way I get it, boy, lost, they gon' start to call him Elroy. Fuck his game, pop out on them demons like I'm Hellboy.
Yeah, those are messed up, no. Bad news is to beat your home, nigga. Yeah. Go on, get on his ass real quick one time. 144, baby.
Run that shit up, Trey. They said you get on, you gon' represent, I said of course. Soon as they crank that beat, I ride that bitch just like a horse. She about to go dumb, yeah, bitch, me whole court. You ain't know they call me Obi-Wan, I come with the force. You gon' ride, yeah, of course, get it lit up like a torch. You even low on this Lord, so that bitch is either or. Yeah, I know them niggas ain't cut like that, I swear I'm to our core. Wait up, let me make a call right quick, I'ma start another war. I was hurting when she left, but I don't care about it anymore. I need a Vaselina like my Nina Puffer boy. Took a sock, watch the dark. Matter of fact, like a dart. Any problem, let them come. We gon' snatch they soul like Shang Tsung. Put them out of service, keep them tools like Miss Harvey Free. Try to hope it's way too late. I'm headed straight to the safe. Throw that one up like a trophy. I'm that nigga, ain't no debate. Throw them boys taking note. Call them up like set the date. This shit a piece of cake. Yeah, my bitches came from Whole Foods. Told them put on that top 3. Then bring me my house shoes. Don't make excuses, make moves. These niggas ungrateful, gotta show them UPK rules. I make hits like I can't lose. They said you get on, you gon' represent. I said of course. Soon as they crank that beat, I ride that business like a horse. She about to go dumb, yeah, bitch, the whole court. You ain't know they call me Obi-Wan, I come with the force. You gon' ride, yeah, of course. Get it lit up like a torch. You even low on this Lord, so that bitch is either or. Yeah, I know them nigga ain't cut like that. I swear to our court. Yeah, I just got off the call. I'ma start another war. Spit a plate up with my niggas, get your knife in your fart. They ain't locking when you counting, when you speaking to me fart. Yeah, I just took the floor. Ain't no cowards in my campaign. They can't stop the campaign. Tell them bring the champagne. They know I'm a champion. They can see the outcome. Get them niggas bad, got them tied down and out there. You can't do with them steppers. Niggas been down since day one. We run up the bands, bitch, like Dylan. They say you get on, you gon' represent. I said, of course. Soon as they pray that beat, I read that bitch just like a horse. Yeah, about to go dumb, yeah, bitch, we whole court. You ain't know they call me Obi-Wan. I come with the force. You gon' ride, yeah, of course. Get it lit up like a torch. wild card, and I just made the call. We gon' start another war. Yeah. Let's start. Let's get into it. Good. All right, clap it up. Right. All right, it's the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Start out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York City, under Commanding General Yohana. Established in 1969. We're not affiliated with any other Israelite group. We teach the truth according to the Bible that the so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are the Israelites. All right. So today's class topic is going to be, of course, Monday history class. And we're going to get into the history of sports. The history of sports is, I guess, a good topic for right now because the Super Bowl was just yesterday. All right. So a lot of people was tuning into the Super Bowl, voting for, cheering for the Chiefs, cheering for, who else? I don't even know. I don't even watch sports. Who was the Chiefs and somebody else, huh? The 49ers and the 49ers. Some people cheering for the 49ers. Again, this is all by design. There's so many things that are happening within these sports and great events like the Super Bowl or the Olympics. And we're going to get to the bottom of it today and show you the spiritual aspect behind the sports and what's really going on. All right. So let's start with the definition of sport. All right. Let me get sport. Just look up the definition of sports. Maybe you can find it online. All right. Just look for that right quick. Let me see if they have it in the Zondervan. Yeah, see if you can just give me an online definition. That's fine. All right. Okay. There's a definition on a site called .com. Do you see that? Okay. That's fine. Go ahead and give me the dictionary definition.
Definition order. An athletic activity requiring skill or physical prowess.
Okay. Give me a different definition.
Diversion, recreation, pleasant pastime.
Say it one more time.
Diversion, recreation, pleasant pastime.
Nah, let me get a different one. Just look at the verb definitions. The verb used as a verb. All right. Go ahead. You see it? Yeah, you don't see the definitions. How it says noun, the definitions that what you was just reading, then it has verb definitions. All right, I'll go ahead and read what I got here. So the sport definition says for the verb, it says amuse oneself or play in a lively, energetic way. Right? And it says the children sported in the water. That's for example, right? Use it in a sentence. So, and this is the real definition of sport, right? Amusement. It's amusement. It's like play, like making fun of, in a sense, right? Making fun of something. This is like sports is supposed to be fun, right? Well, the root of it is just being made fun of or amusement. And we're going to get into that as well to talk about why we know that sports and how the history of sports and why it's all for amusement and for a particular amusement. All right. So let me get in the Maccabees, right? In the Zondervan, not in the Zondervan, in the Apocrypha. All right, Maccabees. Salagi, I'm getting these scriptures that where it says places of exercise. I think it's First Maccabees chapter 1. All right. Let me get First Maccabees chapter 1. Okay. All right. And we're going to get down to the bottom of it and understand what's going on here. And I'm gonna bring up some other historical information about sports
and how it's absolutely spiritually a way to distract you from being who you really are. It's a way to distract you from what's really going on. And it's humiliating us, right? It's humiliating for us that is watching the sports, that is giving our attention to it, and it's also humiliating to the people who are playing in the sports, who are on the 49ers team, who are on the team of the the Kansas City Chiefs. This is going to show you how humiliating it is for people in the field and off the field who are watching these sports. And I'm going to show you in the Bible, and it's going to be real clear. And if you have an ear to hear, then you will become more aware of why you should not be giving so much into these sports. Or more importantly, more attentive to what's really going on in the society, what's really going on in the earth. All right? What you got going on? I'm trying to stall it. What we got? Okay, so we good to go? Got you. Let's get it.
The book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
And it happened after that Alexander, son of Philip,
Mm-hmm.
the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Gentile, had smitten Darius, king of the Persians and Medes, that he reigned in his stead, the first over Greece.
Right. So now we're talking about the Greek Empire. All right. We're talking about the Greek Empire, which a lot of this stuff goes as far back as the Greeks and the Romans. Right. These sports. Right. That's why they have the Olympics. Where is the Olympics held at? Right. Out there in Greece. Right. So they have these. Well, it's not always held out there, but that's where they have the big Coliseum. You know what I mean? I don't know. I forgot the name of it, but a lot of this stuff stems from those places, Greek and Rome. You know what I mean? All of this gladiators. You know what I mean? When you talk about gladiator, that was all sport. You know what I mean? Gladiators, having them go and fight to the death. You know, they got to choose their weapon of choice, a ball and chain. You know what I mean? Or a sword or axe or, a spear. They would choose their weapon of choice and they would fight to the death. And we're not on. That's crazy. So somebody said we're not on?
No. That's just something.
All right, bet. So we're back. All right, we're back again. Huh? Yeah, that's fine. Read it again. All right.
This is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 1.
Go ahead.
And it happened after that Alexander, son of Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Chile, had smitten Darius, king of the Persians and Medes, that he reigned in his stead, the first over Greece.
Right. So Alexander, all of these names that we're talking about, Darius, king of the Persians, these are all real characters in history, right? You can go research these characters. You can go research Alexander. You can research Darius, King Darius, who's over the Persians, who are now known as today the Iranians, right? You can go look this stuff up. This is in the Bible that we're reading out of. But it's saying that all the way up time that he reigned in his stead the first over Greece. So this is taking place in the Greek Empire right now, what we're talking about. Alexander the Greek, King Darius over the Persians. And as it pertains to sports, a lot of what we know as sports, as far as like the football, basketball, boxing, UFC, even particular events like the Olympics, Super Bowl, championships, all-star games. All of these things are as old as the Greeks and the Romans and going all the way back 3,000 years ago. You understand? And that's why we're starting right here. We're taking place right here. And in those times, the sports were, matter of fact, let's read this right here real quick. All right. Matter of fact, read that next one. Read that next scripture. All right.
Verse 2. It made many wars.
It made many what?
Wars.
Made many what?
Wars.
Wars. Go ahead. Made many wars. Go ahead.
And won many strongholds.
And
slew the king of the earth.
And slew the kings of the earth. So now in this chapter, we're going from the rulership, like taking the reign over Greece, and then how there were many wars that were fought to be able to take over strongholds and slew the kings of the earth, meaning taking dominion, taking out, overthrowing kingdoms on the earth. This all has to play into sports. War is in sports. It is. And we don't understand it because we look at sports as entertainment. And that's exactly what it is. It's entertainment. But if you don't understand the truth about sports, then you will not be a warrior to be able to do what it just said, to take over strongholds, right? To take over strongholds, to slew kings of the earth. You will not be able to do that. You know what you'll be able to do? You'll be able to make touchdowns. You'll be able to make touchdowns. You'll be able to, win gold medals. You'll be able to, get stats and highlights. You understand? Gold rings and trophies. That's what you're using your warrior abilities to do in sport. When in real sport, it was all about war. So now we have brothers like LeBron James, who could be an excellent warrior in the army of Christ, right? In the Isupk and the Commander General Yohana, right? Who else? We got brothers like Marshawn Lynch, who was a beast. Brothers that are, like Ocho Cinco and all these well-known, Terrell Owens, all these real athletic, strong individual brothers, right? Who are not using that strength and those war tactics and that strength, right, to be able to do what these men have been able to do, what our oppressor is doing to us, what the Chinese are doing overseas. We're not able to use that because we're using our strength to make touchdowns and win gold medals. We're being humiliated, right? Because they look at you as somebody can make touchdowns. That's why when Colin Kaepernick stood up for, black society, in our calamity and the injustice, what happened? They took him out the league. Because they don't need you to be a warrior that's going to stand up for the war against your people. They want you to be a warrior on the gridiron. You understand? They want you to be a warrior on that football field. Be a warrior in the Olympics and bring us back those gold medals. But don't be a warrior for black people. You see what I'm saying? That's the humiliation of sports. But in the root of it, sport was made for war. Now let's get into it. That's what we just read. It said it took place in Greece. And right after that, it says, and made many wars. Now I want you to read this right quick. Read that right quick. Nice and loud.
The documented history of sports.
Okay, so now we're reading about the documented history of sports. Go ahead.
Goes back at least 3,000 years.
Right? 3,000 years. We're talking about, like I said, the Greek Empire, Roman, Roman Empire. The Greek Roman Empire was about 2,000 something years ago. So Greek Empire was, prior to that. So, we looking at these empires 3,000 years ago. Go ahead.
In the beginning, sports often involved the preparation for war.
The preparation for what?
For war.
The preparation for what? For Olympics. For the Super Bowl. For the All-Star games. For gold medals. Trophies. The Hall of Fame. No. The award sports in the beginning was for preparation for war. That's what it was for. It was for preparation of war. Because you were putting these men in places to condition themselves to be able to go into battle. That's what we was doing. Right now, do men in the sports, do they prepare themselves? They do. They have weightlifting, they have training, they in the gym every day, they running in the fields. Like what Kobe said, you wasn't with me shooting in the gym, right? They practicing long hours, lifting weights, running, doing, you see Muhammad Ali, he underwater boxing training, underwater. You know what I mean? What's his name? Mike Tyson, he chasing chickens like Rocky, right? So these are all things, these are preparation things, but what are they preparing for? They're preparing to go throw footballs and, fight in the ring. That's what they're preparing for. They're not preparing for war. They're not preparing. They're preparing, but they're not preparing for war. You understand? They're becoming big and athletic and, strong and agile and all of those things. Increasing their vertical jump, increasing the time, their speed and how they can run in a 40-yard dash, right? They're doing all of that. But they're doing it in preparation for fun. for a game. They're doing it in preparation for a game. Where's our army at? Where's the black man's army, the Hispanic and Native Indian man's army, right? Who are preparing for war against the battles that are being fought against blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Where are they at? The only army I know is the Army of America when it comes to blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. The American Army. And they're not fighting wars for us. The American, the Navy, the branches of the Navy, the Army, the Air, they're not fighting and preparing to fight against our enemies. If anything, they're our enemies. So where's our army at where they're preparing like LeBron James prepares for a basketball game? Where's our army that are preparing for the war against black people? They're nowhere. They're nowhere to be found because our warriors are only training for the Olympics. Our warriors are only training for the Super Bowl. That's what they're training for. They're training to get gold medals and plaques to put on a wall and checks, contracts, big rings with diamonds. That's all they're preparing for. When in actuality, the beginning of sports was done what? Read it again. The article that you got right there from the top.
The documented history of sports goes back at least 3,000 years. In the beginning, sports often involved the preparation for war.
The preparation for war, man, is where the sports begin. Go ahead and continue.
Or training as a hunter.
Or training as a hunter, which is necessary to be able to sustain a nation, right? You got to be able to protect the nation and you got to be able to feed the nation. But what are we doing? We're preparing to do what? To not protect the nation, but to entertain the nation. And then when they get the spoils of winning a championship game, that Super Bowl, what do you think that Super Bowl money that all them athletes are going to get is going to go? Into feeding the nation? Into feeding blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians? Absolutely not. That money is going to go into cars and clothes and have big houses and nice shoes and jewelry and luxurious lifestyles for them athletes. They're not going to feed the hunger. They're not going to feed the poor and feed the nation, create job opportunities for blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians that we don't have to suffer and starve. It's not happening that way. So again, the sports in the beginning, it was preparation for war and for hunting, which is what men should be doing, preparing to defend our nation, to prepare to feed our nation. If we have those two things, we won't need anything else. What else will we need? We can build our own shelter. We can build shelter. You know what I mean? We got running water all over the place, in streams and rivers and lakes. You know, we hunt. We got the food we can eat. That's all we need. We can make clothes with the animals that we kill, that we unalive, Salakia. You know what I mean? We can, we can do it all. But because of this society and their twist and their spin on these things and how they've convinced us that this is the life, as long as we can get big and strong and win medals to make money to be able to buy a big house, then we're living the American dream. While millions and millions of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are displaced. We don't have a home. We're migrating here, migrating there. We on the streets, under bridges. You understand? In the unemployment line, in the child abortion clinic, aborting our babies because we can't afford to take care of them. And that's because we've been lied to, man. We've been duped. Go ahead, read what you want to say.
Those millions and billions goes back to the manufacturers.
Yeah.
People that those are
That's right. Goes to the manufacturers, the plants, these big organizations. That's where it goes. Finish off where you was at.
Or training as hunter, which explains why so many early games involved in throwing of spears, stakes, and rocks.
Right. So the spear chucking, you got that as a part of the Olympics. We could chuck spears, and then they got the one with the big ball that you turn around and throw that. That's like throwing a rock, right? It's all the same thing. All of these things come from the Greek Empire, man. And they were done to be able to prepare men for war. But our men don't prepare for war. We prepare for the Olympics. We prepare for, the March Madness. That's what we prepare for. And we'll throw those rocks and throw those spears and do the high jumps, run the 40-yard dash, 400-yard dash. We'll do all of that just to be able to get gold medals and be able to have it running in the Olympics. You understand? And meanwhile, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we're suffering. We need warriors. We need warriors. We need more men like Colin Kaepernick that was really willing to lose his job, his place in that league, to be able to stand up for what's really happening to his people. You understand? But again, we don't see it that way, but our oppressor does. He's training up little kids. How old do you got to be to go into the military? What's the youngest age? Maybe like 16, 17, 18? 18 years old, you go right into the military if you want to, and train and fight and do physical combat, all that type of stuff. And they'll send you to the island and you'll be in there turning you into a robot to go and do what? To slew kings, to take strongholds, to make America great, which is the land of the land of our oppressors, man, who is ruling over these lands, our oppressors. All we doing is making them great, and that's what we do. So they're training up soldiers to go and make America great and slew kings and take strongholds, and at the same time, they're training up blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indian men to do the same thing, but not just on the war front, but also in the entertainment, because that's all you are at that point is entertainment. LeBron is entertainment. We watch him, we're entertained. He's strong as shit just for us to be entertained, literally. All those athletes are strong and athletic just for our entertainment, literally, not to protect us, not to help go gather, some spoils, right? Some food, but to entertain us. That's it. And some of them ain't even able to do that. Look at Dwayne Wade. He played for the Miami Heat and was athletic all since I knew him. And he and his son is allowed to be a girl in his house. He can't even protect his own house, right? Because along with the physical aspect of war, there's also the spiritual aspect of war too. And living under this society is not preparing us for either one of those warfares, not for physical warfare or spiritual warfare. That's why we're gonna get strong, mentally, physically, go to college, go to the gym and win medals in sports and come home and teach our kids that they can be whatever gender they want to be. And we are destroyed on every front. And we're one of those strong. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians is the greatest stronghold that all these nations are overthrowing right now, that all these other nations are taking because of their truth, the knowledge that they have of what real war is, or what real sport is. You understand? The sacrifices that they make for their people, their liberty, their freedom. You understand? The sacrifice that they make. They go to the gym all day, every day. Why? So they can make sure that China is great. So they can make sure America is great. So they can make sure Africa is great. Make sure Russia is great. They're doing it necessarily, and everything they do, they'll do, we know what they'll do. They'll cross-dress. They'll sleep with a baby. They'll drink tiger's blood. They'll do it all. They'll do anything to obtain power and make sacrifices to be able to be great, to make their people and their nation great. But meanwhile, us, we live for entertainment. We'll suffer in the ghettos, in the barrios, in the reservations, in the lowest hell. And all we can really muster up enough strength to do is to entertain ourselves and each other. Make enough money to get that white picket fence. No worries about all the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians people that are being unalived. No worry to the great unemployment rate and poverty of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. No worries to that. And that's why they're better than us right now. Because they take their nationhood more serious than we do. They take their freedom and liberty and their power greater than we do. And we are the real power on the earth. So, where we at right now, is there any more than that? Go ahead and read it.
And sparring one-on-one with opponents.
Right. Sparring one-on-one with opponents. You understand? Any more of that? All right, let me get that. Sparring one-on-one with opponents, man. All of this stuff comes back. War and sport all goes back together to the Greek Empire. And it was for preparation for war. And they was training up and seeing who was the champions. Who were our champions? You know, you come out on top, you know, this is our champion. He's going to be the one that we're going to be able to put on the front line, the tactician, you know, that's going to lead us into victories as we make our nation great. But we don't see it that way. We just living for a good time. We want to go out here and go to college, get a scholarship to go play football, make $1 million and use it to buy a Tesla. Use it to buy a Tesla. Meanwhile, we suffering. Our whole nation is suffering. We like, what's his name? Steve Harvey said, this ain't the black game, this the money game. Well, if we made it the black game, it wouldn't be the money game. It wouldn't be the money game, because if we put in place of money our integrity, Steve Harvey, then guess what? We can have the necessary zeal to do what? To overthrow nations, overthrow strongholds, and will be in power of the currency, will be in power of the gold in the land. But because, you know, we so misconstrued and, you know, so beat down, we rather assimilate into this society in order to be able to have a pot to piss in and a window to throw it out of. And we don't understand that, you know, the reason why we're in this condition is because we keep, you know, putting all of these things before our integrity, before our own people, before our culture, our own culture. And that's why these things are happening. Go back to Maccabees, all right? Drop down to let's see. Drop down to just drop down to 11, all right? Start me at 11.
First book of Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 11.
Mm-hmm.
In those days, when they're out of the Israel, wicked men.
Now we're still talking about in Greece, right? And it's under the rule of Phineas, son of Antiochus, who was the king prior, right? So we're in the Greek Empire still. But in the Greek Empire, wicked men came out of Israel, meaning who? So-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. When we were in captivity in the Greek Empire, just like we were in the Roman Empire with the time of Christ, just like we were in the Greek in the Egyptian Empire, just like we were in the Persian and all these other Assyrian, Babylonian, we were in captivity in Greece. And just like today in America in captivity, wicked men go out from among us. There are wicked men of our nation of people, of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Go ahead and read.
Who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are around about us.
Now, this is how wicked they are. This is how wicked they are. They're so wicked that they don't just go sell out on their own, right? They don't just sell out and go do what all the Greeks do. When in Rome, do what the Romans do, right? They ain't just selling out, but they going and persuading us to sell out too. And what do you see all the time on the TV and on the internet? All these commercials endorse, all these athletes being endorsed, right? Yeah, all these athletes. LeBron James, he's probably endorsed by Nike or somebody, right? Nike or somebody, right? All these endorsements that they do, sponsors, and they go out and they pay these athletes to do what? To promote this brand. You know what I mean? To promote this brand, promote Nike. We'll sign you, give you a deal with Nike. Look at Kanye West. Give you a deal with Adidas. You know what I mean? And you convince them to do this. You know, all this, the Super Bowl coming up. Let's get these Super Bowl commercials running out. Let's get this going out. Let's get that going. It's voting time. Let's get them voting. Let's get it. Vote or die. Let's get all of this stuff, you know, these advertisements, which is for what? Persuasion. To persuade you to go watch the Super Bowl. To persuade you to go and support the Olympics. To persuade you to go out and vote. And that's what they're doing. They're persuading many. Because it ain't enough for them to just be able to sell out. They got to sell you out too. Go ahead and read.
For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow.
Right. And you know why? Because they don't feel like they can thrive and be happy without them. Like Steve Harvey. He don't feel like he can be happy without American money. He don't feel like his family can survive without American money. What he say? If I don't do this and do that, then my wife is going to suffer, my children are going to suffer, and all of these people. You remember he was going down the generation of his family, how all of them go. He don't believe that it's detaching himself from America for the sake of his integrity is going to be profitable for his family. He's going to be in sorrow. He's going to be in sorrow. He's going to be in sorrow. No different than we felt when we came out of Egypt and went into the wilderness, where we was in sorrow and we wanted to go back, right? Because since we departed from them, we've been in much sorrow. We've been starving out here. We need to go back. I got to stay here. I got to be a part of this. Y'all got to do it too. White man's been good to us. What would we be without the white man? You know, what would we be without this? What you gonna do without these loans? What you gonna do without, these paychecks, without that degree? What you gonna do without all of this stuff? What are you gonna do? They don't see no other way. And because of that, they will compromise every little thing for that. Now, if we use that same zeal, sacrifice to put towards doing what it takes to become an independent nation, you understand, and rule the earth, then we would do it. It's working for the other nations, right? And it makes it even easier when they got the greatest people on the earth making sacrifices for the greater of their country as well. That's why they get us on the front lines in civil wars, and get us on the front lines in the war against Israel and Hamas, and get us on the front line in World War I and World War II and this Revolutionary War and the Cold War. They put black people and Hispanic people up there, and Native Indians, the Buffalo Soldiers, and you understand? Because we're the greatest warriors. In your Olympics, we're gonna bring back all the medals. Don't we do it? Yeah, but we don't do that for our own selves. We can win the wars for them. Then why won't we win the wars for ourselves? And if we can win the championships and gold medals for them, why can't we do it for ourselves? Which takes me back to people like Jackie Robinson. How many Negro baseball leagues did we have during the time of segregation? Like 30 something, right? I don't know. You probably close, but I know it was a few of them. Negro leagues. And what happened? Yeah, they disbanded. Yeah, they disbanded, and because of what happened. Because people like Jackie Robinson wanted to play for the white man's league, and him playing for the white man league made it more attractive for people to seek the same thing. So when he got in there, it opened up the door. Like Martin Luther King, for example, he went in there and did the civil rights movement and fought to be integrated. Now, before integration, we had black businesses everywhere. Then when we integrated, all of the black businesses went away. Same thing with the league. Jackie Robinson got into the white man's league. Now everybody want to go into the white man's league. And what happened to the black leagues? They all went away. This is what happens. If we care more about our own selves rather than the entertainment of our oppressors, entertaining our oppressors, then we can rule the earth under Christ. And we can make sport, and as it pertains to preparing for war, to take over strongholds, opposed to making sport to humiliate ourselves. It's for the entertainment of others. Look at Muhammad Ali. He was boxing all them years. Then what happened? How he died? Rich and famous and healthy and wealthy and all that? No, he died like disabled, mentally disabled, with Parkinson's disease. You understand? Look at other brothers like that had been on this football league that then got concussions in these early stages of football. You understand? All them concussions. It was an epidemic of people ramming heads together in this football field and getting concussions. All for what? For entertainment. That's what it is. For entertainment, man. You understand? And a lot of them we're gonna get into right now, but we don't believe that we can stop doing that for them and do it for ourselves for a greater reward, because we don't see that reward, and it just doesn't seem possible to us to be greater than America. For Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians to come together and be a great country and be a great nation. We don't see it that way. We only see it. We got to go ahead and work. This place is established. We ain't gonna be able to do this. All right. So go ahead, continue reading. So that's why they have wicked men that go out and persuade you to do just that, to conform to America, because this is the best thing for us. This is the best thing for us, to play the money game, man. Play the money game. This ain't the die game. This ain't the black game. This ain't the Hispanic game. This the money game. For those dead presidents. We got to do this. Come on, man. Y'all got to do this, man. Come on, put your suit and tie on, brother. Clean yourself up, man. Go get a college degree. Get off the couch. You know, all that stuff that they go vote, man. The only way we're going to change is if we go out and vote. Come on, bro. Wicked men. Go ahead.
Verse 12. So this device pleased them well.
Mm-hmm. So this device pleased them well, meaning these things that they were saying pleased them. So what? You're right. Them flesh pots back in Egypt, they was good. They were good, better than this manna and this quail out here that we eat. It's better than that. You know what I mean? That you know, clocking in and out of that Tesla job is way better than trying to start my own business here. You know, I don't know. I'd rather just go clock in and out, go to college and get $100,000 in debt and have an opportunity to make $70,000 a year rather than going and trying to start no business. You know, I'd rather pay these property taxes rather than go own my own home. You see what I'm saying? Like, we don't want the work of being independent. So, and it sounds good that all we got to do is just go here, clock in. That's all you got to do is go over here and do what they say to do. And you got a job and you good. And that sounds good and it pleased them. Go ahead.
Verse 13. The certain of the people were so forward herein that they went to the king, who gave them sight license to do after the ordinance of the heathen.
Right. Now they so pleased of just going and making a covenant with the heathen that they now like, you know what, we want to be able to do what you do. And they granted them. You want to be able to legally marry? Here, you can legally marry. You want to be a police officer and be working the field and be able to lock people up and enforce the law? Here, you can do it. You can become a police officer. You can join the army. You can be a real member in the army and not just a body that just go out and, you know, unallow people come back and go back to slavery. You can get gold medals, Purple Hearts. You can do it. We can go out here. You can be a mayor. You can be a governor. You want to join us and come in us, it pleases you to be a part of us, we're going to let you be a part of us and give you power in this kingdom. But is it really power? It's not power. Do mayors really change things? Governors change things? Does a police officer get to really, you know, do what's right and change, make a difference in the black community? No, none of those things are really actually power. But, you know, they go to them, they've convinced that it is, and this is the only way and the best way, and they go and do it. Go ahead. 14.
Whereupon they build a place of exercise.
They did build a what?
A place of exercise.
So now it's time to build a place of exercise. What is a place of exercise? Yep, a gym. Yep, a coliseum, some kind of stadium where you go in and train and physically train. That's what they've done. And in this time, it was absolutely humiliating because they would have you out there, and you can go and look this up. They'll have you out there battling two black men battling each other, you know, because they want to be a part of this society. We'll go out here and battle each other butt naked. You just be naked with no clothes on, and y'all fight each other to the death. And we would do it because we've already accepted that this is the only way we're going to survive is to join. You know, other than this, it's going to be sorrow. So we got to join and, you know, and get licensed to do what they do and work in their companies and, you know, and be a part of their society. They want us to put on a dress. We'll put on a dress. If that makes us great in this society, we'll put on a dress. You want me to go in this arena and fight this man until the end? So there's just only one person left alive? No problem. We'll do it. You want us to do it with no clothes on? No problem. We'll do it. That's sports today. That's the sports that they gave us. The humiliation of being going over and beyond to win gold medals. Going over and beyond and humiliating yourself and hurting yourself and suffering and the pain and the sweat and the tears to just bring back a trophy. To be the last man standing. And we all cheer you on. You understand that? That's sports. That's sports that they've given us. It's a joke. You understand? So they built those places of exercise after they wicked men have convinced us to join this society and do after the king's commandments. And now they've given us the licenses to do things. And now we rocking and rolling in this society. And here they go. They build a place of exercise because now we're going to take these blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, and we're going to make them entertain us. They're going to juck and jive, do a dance and sing a song and all that. And all of it is still happening today. See the Super Bowl, right? The football team, they crashing and butting heads, and then after the halftime, then what happened? You bring out all your singers and your dancers, and your musicians, your entertainers, those entertainers. You understand? Alicia Keys and Usher, and not only they don't just get out there and entertain our oppressors. What do they also do? They humiliate us. They humiliate us. Because why is Usher wrapping his arms and putting his rod up against a married woman on TV or anywhere to that for that matter? Why? Why is what's his name? Jermaine Dupri coming out here with ballerina socks on and tap dancing shoes on? What is this about? Humiliation. Snoop Dogg, he come out all the time. He come out, he got to be smoking weed every time. Smoking weed, making it cool. It's all humiliation, bro. Humiliating us, bro. And it's niggatry is what it is. It's absolute niggatry to go out here and sing and dance and throw a football and do all that stuff for the white man's entertainment, man. Humiliating each other, humiliating your nation, not being of any use for the greater of our nation. So yeah, they build them places of exercise, and they build it for us to go out there and unalive each other and humiliate ourselves to entertain them. Like, look at that strong buck there. We get him out there. He could probably chuck a spear 400 yards. We get that big buck out there. He can probably run faster than a wild horse. That's all it is, bro. They make bets. You understand? On top of that, they make bets. Cast lots. I bet you this team is going to win. I bet you he's going to be the one to unalive him first. And it's all sport, man. All right. Go ahead and continue that.
According to the customs of the heathen.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Verse 15. And made themselves uncircumcised.
Mm-hmm.
And forsook the holy covenant.
Right. Again, we talk about uncircumcision and uncircumcision. Circumcision is spiritual and physical. And this aspect is talking about spiritually uncircumcised. How do we know that? Because of the next sentence that it said after it says uncircumcised and did what? And
forsook their holy covenant.
Right. And they forsook they uncircumcised themselves, causing themselves to forsake the holy covenant, which is that we were going to follow those laws, statutes, and commandments. That we were going to live according to the culture of our fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. This is not a part of our culture. This is not a part of our culture. This is not what we did. This is what they do. And we've forsaken our covenant, and for that reason, we've become spiritually uncircumcised. You understand? Go ahead.
And joined themselves to the heathen.
And joined ourselves to the heathen, man. Let me see. Let's see. I want to get into the Olympics as well, but I want to did we finish that okay.
This is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 15.
Mm-hmm.
And made themselves uncircumcised.
Mm-hmm.
And forsook the holy covenant.
Right. So, just to hone in on that as well, because this is where our real strength comes from. Because you can be as strong as an ox and be able to tackle 10 men and run a 40-yard dash, in 4 flat. You know what I mean? Or whatever whatever these expectations are that separates you from the mass of a society when it comes to your athleticism. You can do all of those things. But if you're not circumcised mentally, right, spiritually, then you are nothing. And the Bible tells you that. It tells you that in the scriptures. When it talks about the salt of the earth, it said if the salt doesn't have its savors, then what are they good for? They're just made to be trodden under the foot. To be trodden underfoot. And that's what we are right now. We're trodden underfoot. As big as these men are and how fast they are and all of they still are we are trodden underfoot, man. We don't mean nothing in the society. Because we're spiritually uncircumcised. That salt that it talks about when it says we are the salt of the earth, that flavor, that's the laws of God. That's the culture that God gave us. And we don't have that. We've forsaken that. And now we become trodden underfoot. We become the lowest in the earth. So it doesn't matter how big you are and how athletic you are. If you don't have that component, then you don't have nothing at all. You're not going to win anything. Nothing, none of your wins are going to be glorious. And that's why a lot of these successors are coming out now and saying, oh, we watched them so long on TV, win Grammys and all this, and they still complaining. They complaining about, I only made $50,000 a show, believe it or not. They saying that as if that's disappointing. I've only made $50,000 a show. I only got, I didn't get no album of the year. I didn't get no album of the year. I ain't making that. You want to know what their problem is? No, it's a particular thing. They do want more, but it's a reason they want more. There's a reason they want more. When Monique said she only made $50,000 a show in disappointment, what do you think she's having that idea of this as being a disappointment from?
He wants to make money like that.
There it is, brother. That's it. Because she's seen what this white show and their show is making every episode. They making $200,000 every episode. All right. Then what is another person? That sister, what's her name? Taraji P. Henson. She talked about how much she made on the movie. I only made $1 million off of that movie. It was $10 million, but after it was all of the fees and stuff were taken out, I only made $1 million off that movie. Is $1 million a little bit of money? So why is she disappointed? Because boy, the white boy that was in that movie, he made $10,000 after everything was over. He made $10,000 in that movie. You understand what I'm saying? And that's the issue there. We're just trying to catch up with them and be equal to them. So for that reason, none of the stuff that we're doing is never going to be anything. It's never going to mean anything. Because in our spirit, all we want to do is to be loved by our oppressor and be equal to our oppressor. That's it. We just want to be equal to we just want to make enough rings, get enough rings and opportunities as Tom, what's his name? Tom Brady. I just want to be afforded the same opportunity as this brother and this white man and that white woman. It was some picture. I don't know about all these sports and stuff. I disconnected from that a long time ago. But it was a picture of a white football player on the Kansas City Chiefs yelling at his coach. And then another black athlete wrote a comment on it and said, if this was me, I would have been canceled from the league. You see what I'm saying? That's it. We just want to be able to do what they can do. We just want to be accepted by them and do what they can do. This ain't about nothing else. This ain't about getting $1 million and making money. This is about being able to go to the king's house and be friends with the king like it talks about Maccabees, where it's going to get to in the next chapter, in chapter 2 in Maccabees. Remember when it says, if you do this, I'll make you the king's friends, and I'll give you silver and gold, and you can come to the king's house. And that's what this is all about. They want to be accepted by them and be equal with them. So, $1 million for a movie, that's not enough, because what's his name, Leonardo DiCaprio, he makes $10 million for the movie. I made $50,000 every episode of my show. But what's a good white show? Tim Taylor and the Tool Guy, right? Or whatever show these. I don't watch TV at all. What is a white show that's out right now? Yeah, I don't even know. Huh? Sheldon TV show. They make $100,000, $150,000 every episode. So I'm being oppressed. I'm oppressed. Yeah, listen. Their oppression is based on white validation and white equality. You understand? That's why when you seen Killer Mike win that Grammy, what did he do? He you know who Killer Mike is, though, huh? Yeah, I told you it was gonna take time. We made it. We made it, y'all. You made it where? Where you made it to? You put out music. The music is what you put out. Whether it's good or bad or what, you put it out. It's there. It's up for the viewers to decide who, if we like it or not, right? You did it. You pushed it. You put all the hard work in. You did it. You made it then. But now all of a sudden you got a Grammy. Now you made it. That's when you made it. So before that, you didn't make it. Validation, bro. They just want validation from our oppressor, and that's what this sports is all about. Entertainment is all sport. Humiliating. It's humiliation. You understand? And that's it, man. He was making money. He probably had all his money and views and everything else. And right after that, he got that Grammy and act like he made it. He told y'all, and it could take time, but it's gonna happen. He went out and got arrested by the cops. Went out and they reminded him that he's still a nigga. You're still a nigga, man. Come on with us. Just so you know, just so you ain't too happy. Yeah, you got a Grammy, but you seemed a little bit too happy about getting that Grammy. Let me just remind you who you are. You're still a nigga. You understand? And that's the real reality that we need to accept. That we're never going to get validation from them. Real validation. We're never going to be equal to them. Never. The only real thing that we can aspire to be is ruling over them, which is absolutely possible. We can rule over them. We can't get validation to be equal to them, right? Because that would take for us to work together. Well, ain't no working together for them. They don't want to work with you and you be as good as them. You can go fight in the same war with me and we can be battle buddies. But when we go back, I'm going to get the gold medals. You're going to get a pat on the back. When I drop them albums, I'm going to get album of the year and Grammys. You're just going to get a Grammy. You understand? That's what it is. They don't want to be equal with us. They want to be over us, which every nation should want that. Every nation does want it, except for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. And we're going to keep trying to get it and keep looking for their validation as this is the only way. If this is the only way to be free from sorrow, and we're going to stay in sorrow. We're going to stay oppressed. When there's a greater way to be able to accomplish these things and be a lot better off. And that's to separate from the society by attaching ourselves to those laws, statutes, and commandments of the Lord and attaching ourselves to the culture that God gave us in that Bible. And we can win. We can win more than Super Bowls and Olympics and get more than houses and land. We can rule the earth. You can get more than a Grammy and an Oscar. We can rule the earth and we can create our own awards. You can do that. Create your own awards. Create your own currency. That money you fighting over, that's tree bark. The white man decided to use tree bark as currency, and we fight and unalive each other over it every day. We crash helmets on the field and put gloves on and knock each other senseless every day for a tree bark. Well, you can go and you can be powerful by serving the Lord and his law, statutes, and commandments and embracing your culture, and then you can rule the earth and decide what you want the currency to be and be the wealth of the earth and be the rulers of the earth. But we don't understand that. We don't want to work hard for that. That's not attractive to us. You understand? Like it just read in that the scripture just said, and it said this device pleased them. That device right there that I just talked about, that doesn't please our people. We don't want to be rule the earth. We want to be equal with everybody. We don't want to, we don't want to, be free to be able to do what we want to do. We want to work under them and not have to worry about a thing. It doesn't please them. You understand? And that's why Christ was so upset with the disciples, because they weren't given enough. You understand? The level of expectation that we have to become rulers is a very serious and very it's a task. You understand? It takes a special kind of person to obtain this thing. You understand? That's why Christ was one of the greatest. He's the greatest in history. And it's going to take so much to reach his level. And a lot of people don't want to even do that. They don't want to do that. I'll just go over here into Egypt and, eat out of this flesh pot and be called racial slurs every day. You understand? And have my house taken from me and my children taken from me. I'll just deal with that because I can't obtain the life of Christ. Well, Christ commanded us to obtain that life. He commanded us. And that's why warfare is important. And if we fixed our mind for real sport and war, then we will become physical warriors to be able to take over strongholds, but more importantly, physically warriors to do what it takes to fight our demons. To fight our demons for the betterment of our nation and our rulership. And not at all for entertainment at all. There's no time for entertainment right now. They just found 700 bodies behind a prison of our people, brothers and sisters. You understand? That's our plight. Who got time to be singing and dancing and cheering? And you understand? And entertaining. No, none of us have that time. We should be doing this. Spiritual and physical warfare, preparing ourselves by getting into these classes, studying these laws, statutes, and commandments, applying them to our lives, and being able to do what? Fulfill Christ's commandment for you to be perfect. Take me to Samuel. Let me get Judges chapter 16, verse 25, right? Let me get that right quick. Judges chapter 16, verse 25. I'm still looking for this article, but let me get that. All right. Let me see. So it can kind of be a little bit more precise about the details, but I'm gonna try to find it. We got a little bit of class time. All right. Give me where you at. All right.
It's the book of Samuel, chapter 16, verse 25. And it came to pass when their hearts were merry.
Hope it came to pass when what?
When their hearts were merry.
What does that mean?
When they were happy.
They were happy, right? You happy. You singing and dancing and enjoying. We won the Super Bowl. 49ers, Kansas City. Who won the Super Bowl? I don't even know. Kansas. We won the Super Bowl. Kansas City. We made it. We happy as hell. We riding in the streets. We got the beers, crack them open, hot dogs on the grill, get the grill fired up. When they were happy, go ahead.
And they said, call for Samson.
Call for what?
Samson.
Go ahead.
That he may make us sport.
That he will what?
Make us sport.
What does that mean?
Make him an athlete.
No, not necessarily an athlete. Not necessarily. We just went to the definition. The definition of sport. What is the definition of sport?
Entertainers.
Yeah, exactly. so he can come entertain us. They call Samson, and Samson was one of the mightiest warriors in the Bible, right? Talk about Samson and his strength, didn't they? How he had strength, like, it was unbelievable strength. Call that nigga. Get him. Have him. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's what they're taking our warriors to be able to do, to entertain. You don't use your strength to fight for your nation and overthrow the enemies of your people. No, use your strength and your popularity, your popularity to come entertain us. That's why when they used to have those auction blocks, they go get the biggest Negro, put him up there, the biggest of the Negroes, the most healthiest and athletic ones that can pick that cotton good, that can resist that sun for hours. They can go out here and get them pricklies all in their hands and be able to make it through and pick me 100 pounds of cotton. It's all for their growth and their entertainment. Get him. I want him. I got $1,000 on that buck right there. Now they putting out what they call it now, the $40 million slave. You can go read that book. $40 million slave. Now we $40 million slaves. Go get Samson. We happy. Get Samson. Let's entertain. He need entertainment. Go ahead.
And they called for Samson out of the prison house.
Mm-hmm.
And he made them a sport.
He did what?
Made them a sport.
He made them a sport, man. He entertained them, man. He humiliated him. Made him. It was all about humiliation. Like, let's take this big black man and let's put him in a dress. That sounds good. That would be nice. Hey, you see what I'm saying? It's humiliation, bro. Like, let's take this big black man and let's make him kiss that other black man over there. Let's have them degrade themselves. Let's have them do the weakest thing possible that they can do. Let's use their strengths to have them hurt each other. That would be quite entertaining. Go ahead and read.
And they said in between the pillars.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, continue. I got you. We're gonna get it. We're gonna get it right.
Verse 26. And Samson said unto the lad that held him by the hand, suffer me that I may feel the pillars whereupon the house standeth, that I may lean upon them.
Okay, hold on. Wait, hold on. Read that again. Slaggy. Let me see. I'm reading something. Slaggy. Go ahead, read it again.
The book of Judges, chapter 16, verse 26. And Samson said unto the lad that held him by the hand, suffer me that I may feel the pillars whereupon the house standeth, that I may lean upon them.
Go ahead.
Verse 27. Now the house was full of men and women, and all the lords of the Philistines.
All the lords of the Philistines, right? So now he's doing all of this, right? And for the sight of everybody to see, right? And it said all of the lords were there. Who are the lords? The rulers, right? Of the Philistines, right? They were there. Go ahead.
And they were upon the roof.
They were where?
Upon the roof.
Upon the what?
The roof.
Upon the roof. Now that's important. All right. Now we just watched that Super Bowl. All right. Who's over the Super Bowl? Who orchestrated the Super Bowl? Yeah, who orchestrated? Who put the Super Bowl together and put the whole, the whole league of, National Football League and all that? Who runs that? Generally speaking. Yes, the oppressor. He runs that. Those are the lords. You understand? Those are the lords. And during that Super Bowl, were they there? Where were they at? Where in the roofs? Yeah, in the sky boxes. They in the sky boxes. You seen them up there, right? They got the champagne, the food concession, VIP in the sky box. It's the same exact thing. It's no different. It's always this way. You understand? these coliseums in the same way they were in these houses in the back in this day when they built these places or had us humiliate ourselves while they look down on us in entertainment. Read that again.
Now the house was full of men
Mm-hmm.
and women,
Mm-hmm.
and all the lords of the Philistines were there.
That's right.
And there were upon the roof about 3,000 men and women that beheld while Samson made sport.
That's when everybody was looking. 3,000 people in there looking while Samson humiliated himself. While he was entertained, made entertainment. And how many people watch the Super Bowl? Yeah, I mean, who knows? You know, so much greater than 3,000 in the time of Samson. You understand? In the arena, and now we got national broadcast now. We got TV, all that, internet. So we watching, all the whole world's watching. Lords is all over the place. Everybody, women and children and men everywhere watching. As these men go out here that they've worked all their lives, you know what I mean? Great majority of their lives to train. You understand? Sweat and tear and that pain of working out and lifting weight and conditioning to go out here and ram helmets and run yards and throw passes, you know, tirelessly, you know, rigorously for their entertainment, for the entertainment of their oppressors in the whole world. While meanwhile, again, 700, minorities was found behind and buried behind a prison. You understand? While meanwhile, you know, we got Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians that's coming across the border by the tens of thousands every day, looking displaced, looking for opportunity, for food, for shelter, for work. You understand? By the tens of thousands. And here we are singing and dancing and popping bottles and watching down as these men that have done all of this work to be here and to get through this, you understand, entertain us, to be entertained. Any more on that? Go ahead.
That beheld while Samson made sport.
That was it? All right, read this right quick, man. Read that right there to the top, all right? This is another thing that we have to understand too about sports. This is another thing. So sports we got considered already. Sports is again begin with preparation for war. All right. They throw chuck spears and chuck rocks and all type of weapons to be able to condition themselves for war, or to see who the champions were of the men, to be able to know who they can play in certain positions in war. Then we also know the aspect of sports that's just entertainment, right? Well, you just doing this just because I want to be able to have entertainment, right? And then we have the aspect of, you know, the humiliation of it. But now we're going to get into another aspect of sports that we really need to consider even more on top of, in addition, I should say, that we really need to consider in addition to how humiliating we look doing, you know, these athletic things in sports. But go ahead and read, Doc.
The Nazi Olympics, Berlin, 1936.
1936 in Berlin. You understand? The Nazi Olympics, right? Go ahead and read.
The 1936 Berlin Olympic Games were more than just a worldwide sporting event.
It was what?
More than just a worldwide sporting event.
It was more than just a worldwide sporting event. Now, the Super Bowl is a worldwide sporting event. Like, people are watching the Super Bowl even in other countries, right? Not probably as much as the Olympics and things like that, but the day we live in now, as opposed to 1936, more people around the world have access to these things because of TikTok and other forms, right? So worldly wide, but it's more than that. How is it more than that? How is it more than just what? Really, it says more than a what? Worldwide sporting event. How is it more than a worldwide sporting event? Go ahead and read.
They were a show of Nazi propaganda.
They were a show of Nazi propaganda. Nazi propaganda. What is propaganda? If you hold on the word propaganda, press and hold it on top of the word propaganda, and then let it go, it come up and says look up. Just some options come up. There you go. What does it say?
It says propaganda is communication that is primarily used to influence or persuade an audience.
No, it used to do what?
To persuade.
To what?
To influence or to persuade.
To influence or to persuade. Didn't we talk about being persuaded once before? How wicked men came out of Israel and persuaded us to do according to the king's commandments. So all of this stuff is not just about sports and entertainment, but it's all also propaganda as well. It's also propaganda, meaning a way to persuade. Go ahead and read that definition again.
Propaganda is communication that is primarily used to influence or persuade an audience to further an agenda. To
further an agenda. You see? That's what it is. Also, it's not just entertainment and a way to humiliate us and make sure we're not using this strength to start a revolution, to make sure we're not using this strength to rule the earth. Make sure we use this strength to, for anything but that. Let's keep their minds, on this bread and circus. Let's keep their minds on this money and this entertainment. And while we do that, let's use this to persuade people, an audience of people of a certain agenda. Right? What do we see in that Super Bowl? Give me some agenda that you may have seen, just from some of the things that we just spoke about today.
So parts of the halftime show.
Any of that, because they got them new commercials and stuff they put out too on the Super Bowl. You don't think them commercials ain't propaganda? Yeah, they got. I seen somebody posted because I don't watch none of that stuff. So I've seen it on the internet. Somebody posted one of the commercials. It was about aliens. You don't think none of that's propaganda? Yeah, all of that's propaganda. What were you talking about aliens? Why is this got to be in this? What does this got to do with anything? It's pushing you towards a certain agenda, right? And then we talked about Usher and what's her name? Alicia Keys. That's propaganda. Okay? Now we got men and women all over the earth that see a man, showing a very intimate type of affection to a married woman. Wouldn't that seem acceptable now? Wouldn't it seem cool? Like I talk about Snoop Dogg, he come out and he's singing, dance, and smoke weed, and then this girl come out and she dressed with her butt cheeks hanging out the back. All of that is an agenda they pushing. And I'm sure they probably threw some type of alternative lifestyle type of stuff in there. I'm sure they did in some way, form, or fashion. It's an agenda. It's propaganda. You understand? But go ahead and read. Continue.
Which cannot be objective.
Hold on. Before you read anymore, let me hone in on when we read in the Maccabees where it said wicked men came out and persuaded us to do what? Against the king, to follow the king's commandments and cause us to be uncircumcised and forsake the covenant of the Lord. Don't get it twisted. The same thing is happening today. All of the things that we just named about, Snoop Dogg and the weed and the LGBTQ agenda and adultery and all this stuff that they're promoting and making look cool, all of that's persuading you to do the king's commandment, to live according to America's society, to live according to what's right in their society, which in totality is going to be you forsaking your covenant with the Lord. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, all of this stuff is causing us to forsake our covenant, the things that we followed, our culture that our forefathers gave us, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. All of it's for that reason. Propaganda. But go ahead and read.
Which may not be objective and may be selectively presenting facts to encourage a particular synthesis.
No. We done with the definition of propaganda. Take me back to the article. Just click outside of it. Yeah, and this shit just go away. So read that part about propaganda again.
They were a show of Nazi propaganda.
So now we're talking about Nazi propaganda. So they had something that they wanted to convince the masses on a certain type of agenda. Go ahead and read.
Stirring significant conflict.
Stirring significant conflict. Right. So that's another thing too, right? Because when the Super Bowl was over, you think it was all just happiness and cheering and all that? No. Some people took a loss. Some people lost hundreds of thousands of dollars, $10,000. What do you think that's going to result to? Families, being out of a home because people have these gambling addictions. Well, people that got to go unalive somebody because they ain't paying their money. They ain't pay that money that they betted on, right? Then you got people that's upset because they team lost in the first place, and now they want to fight people on the team that won, that supporters of the team that won. We see that all the time. Fight. You think Crips and Bloods is bad? A person from the 49ers, a regular citizen that's who's a 49ers fan, will fight or unalive somebody who's a Chiefs fan, and it's causing conflict. Go ahead and read.
Despite the exclusionary principles of the 1936 games, countries around the world still agreed to participate.
So now all of these conflicts that's going on in the world, because this time Nazi Germany, they go into war with I think it was Poland, maybe. I don't know where it was. Somewhere to the east of Germany. I know they went east, and then after they made their way back east, they was gonna go west into Poland or something like that. But it was a lot going on all over the world. That's why World War II happened, because it was conflict all over the world. America was going to war with France or whoever, the Britain, somebody. I don't know. I'm not too deep in all of the history, but it was a lot of war going on. But even though there's a lot of war going on, they all agreed to do what? They all agreed to participate. All these different countries. Why do you think so? No, not for popularity. Not for popularity. Not for popularity, brother.
Competition?
Not for competition either.
For propaganda?
Not for propaganda either. Nazi had a propaganda. They wanted to participate, and they put certain things in. They pushed for the Olympics to happen because they wanted to push something. You understand? Or propaganda. But every nation that's got all these conflicts going on, they in the midst of the conflicts agreed. Just like just now, the Olympics just happened. Why? What was going on with the Olympics? Was it the war in Ukraine and Russia? Yeah, I think that was going on right when the Olympics was happening in China, and the tensions, and they still had the Olympics in China. And China was talking about doing something, and they was like, you know what, we're going to do the Olympics. Same exact thing, but why? Why is all this conflict going on, but y'all still agree to do the Olympics? Yes, it's for entertainment, but for what reason? So one word I'm looking for. So one word I'm looking for. Who are they entertaining? Yeah, who's entertaining?
The rulers.
Huh?
The rulers?
No. It wasn't for their entertainment. At least not at this time. Because again, they in conflict. You think the Olympics was entertaining for those men who were fighting out in the wars and unaliving brothers and sisters all over everywhere? You think they was caring about the Olympics? Huh?
Themselves?
What? No, I'm gonna tell you what it was. They was entertaining the world for one particular reason, and that's to distract them. It was a distraction. A distraction. We all agree to this. Yes, let's get the Super Bowl, because that's going to take the heat off all of this conflict and tension that we got going on over here. We don't need everybody worried about is Nazi Germany going to bomb America. We don't need people worrying about that. We don't need people worrying about is America going to have to go to war in Europe, and all of their sons are going to be shipped over across this overseas, maybe to never return. We don't want them thinking about that. We don't want them thinking about all of the slavery that's happening over here, even after emancipation. that's now still causing uproars because in the 1920s and going into that time, we still seeing the Jim Crow, right? Jim Crow in America. So we fighting civil disputes still because of segregation in America. And we got that going on and this going on and wars over here. And let's have that Olympics to distract them. Let's have that Super Bowl, because if they focus too much on that 700 bodies that's behind that prison, then they may start a revolt out here. If they focus on how these decisions that we making to go to war with this country for reasons they may not agree with, and it calls for inflation and their money to have to go up, and it calls for their sons that are in the military, servicemen, to go to war and may not return, they might start to revolt. They might start to act and stand up. So let's have that Olympics to distract them. Let's have that Super Bowl. So let's have that Super Bowl so they can sing and laugh and dance while we go out here and rob them and rape them. Or we continue to rob them and rape them to lessen the blow so they not has so much built up anger to see who we really are and to see what we're really doing in the earth. So it's not just for war preparedness. It's not just for humiliation. It's also for propaganda, and it's also for a distraction. You understand? And that's why all the other nations agree. They just looking at it. They don't even know that Hitler got a plan up his sleeve for world domination. You understand? And here they are. They thinking the same exact way for world domination. So, hey, have that Olympics, because if these people over here get a wind of what we're doing, then we won't be in power. So they all are doing it for power. And then at the end of the day, who's in the Olympics? Blacks, Jamaicans, Haitians, Hondurans, Mexicans, Puerto Ricans, Dominicans. We're the ones running and shit, hey, whoa, doing the, doing the outstanding performance out there. While nations are having propaganda and planning war and got an agenda to rule the earth. Here we are out there throwing spears and running and doing pole jumps and meanwhile they unaliving us in Germany. They unaliving us in America. We ain't got no rights in Africa, no rights in Australia. You understand? We all over the place, scattered everywhere and at the bottom of the bottom. No idea, for power. No idea of the oppression that we are in and how we should be trying to get it out. But instead, we're running in those Olympics that they set up for propaganda and for distraction. We're running in those Olympics and those arenas and those gyms, for to entertain and distract the world. And you understand? While nations are putting these events together to plan attacks to rule the earth, to rule over us. Go ahead and continue to read, Doc. Go ahead.
Olivia Arnold said, when you asked the question, she answered it before you. She said, hidden agenda, secret society.
Yeah, that's it. Hidden agenda, right? It's a hidden agenda. That's a propaganda, right? It's a hidden agenda. They put those things out on the TV and advertise it for the audiences because they're trying to get you to accept something. They're trying to get you to be a certain way that they want you to be and think a way they want you to think or accept something they want you to accept. In Nazi Germany, they wanted the world to believe that they are good people. Hey, look, we're good. We threw the Olympics in Berlin. We're good people, man. We don't, we went to war over here and we attempted to fight over there. We did a coup over here and a coup over there. But hey, man, look, we're good people. We want to model ourselves after the Greeks, the great Olympians. You understand? Like look at us, the Germans, we're upright people. We can evolve ourselves in the societies and the worlds. But in reality, they were planning to destroy everyone and take over the world. So their propaganda was you to like them and to accept them and embrace their culture and see them as good people. And that's still their agenda today. That's still their agenda today. And that's why Steve Harvey is playing the money game instead of the black game. That's why Steve Harvey is playing the money game instead of the integrity game. You understand? That's why. Because their agenda is still the same. Get them to like us. Get them to accept us. Give Killer Mike that Grammy. Give it to him. So they cannot be mad at us and to like us. While we unalive them and bury them behind the prison. While we put them in prison. And while we bury them in the back of the prison and take their children and all of that, while we do that, give him the Grammy. Let them win the Super Bowl. Give them the right to marry. Give them the right to vote. You know, give them what they want. Allow them to become governors and mayors. Let them do these things so they can like us, man, and feel like they need us. And they've made a step towards equality. It's like to make them feel like they've made a step towards equality and that they can gain anything they want in life, any of their dreams and goals with us in power. Go ahead and read that.
Key facts. Nazi Germany used the 1936 Olympic Games for propaganda purposes.
Mm-hmm.
The Nazi promoted an image of a new, strong, and unified Germany while masking their genes.
Why doing what? So they painted a picture of a new, strong Germany. You know, it's an upright Germany. It's not like, you know I did this and I went to war over here and I was, after them and I tried, but we're better people. This is a new, we're going to come together. I'm for Germany, I'm for world peace. We're going to get it in. But they were what? What's that word? We start with an M?
Masking.
They were masking, means a cover up, a secret, like the sister said, a secret that they were hiding the real agenda, the real thing that's happening outside of the Super Bowl, the real thing that's happening outside of the Olympics, outside of the All-Star games and the Grammy Awards show and all of these big things that's happening is something that they're masking. Go ahead and read.
Masking the regiment's targeting of Jews in Roma.
Right. They're masking their targets of Jews and Romas. Go ahead. Right.
As well as Germany's growing militarism.
Right. As well as their growing militarism. Right? Because I watched the documentary and they used the Olympic to hide the fact that they were beefing up their military. Because they didn't want people to be aware of the money that they're spending over here. Like, damn, what are you sending all that money over there for? Why are you sending it? Why is 20 tons of uranium or some type of metal being shipped over here? Why is this happening over here? You see what I'm saying? They're not paying attention to that. The plays that's happening under the radar, because we preparing for the Olympics. We beefing about military. Why? Because we're about to go to war. And listen, these people are doing the same thing even yet today, right now. The Olympics was going on right in the middle of Ukraine and Russia while we was looking at that thing on TikTok like, dang, look and see. They had footage in the war. We watching the war live. Same thing like with Israel and Hamas when it popped off. We was watching it live on TikTok. Reporters, boots on the ground in Hamas. Live from Hamas, boom, bombs going off. They couldn't have that, brother. We got to have that Olympics. We need to get this Grammys going. And you would think they wouldn't do the Olympics or the Grammys or any of that type of stuff because of the conflict, because of the money it takes to do all of that stuff. Right? The money it takes to promote a Super Bowl and to put that stuff together. Olympics. Not only the money that it takes, but also the risk of sending Americans to Berlin, to sending, Americans into China. Sending these people into these lands where there's tensions against us. They have travel advisories against these countries. But they're going to do the Olympics, though. They're going to do that Grammys. You understand? They're going to do this. They're going to do that big TikTok awards thing. They're going to do all that. But more importantly, we don't care about none of that. We just need most of people not seeing what's really happening in Hamas. We don't need them to really see what's happening in legislation. We don't need them to really see the crimes that are being uncovered every day against Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. We don't need them to see those things, and we need them to forget about the things that they did see, the things that they were hyped up about. So let's have that Super Bowl. Let's have that Grammy show. Let's do the Olympics. Let's get all of that going. Get it going. But they're masking the real things that are happening. Go ahead and read.
Number 2, for the first time in the history of modern Olympic Games, people in the United States and Europe called for a boycott of the Olympics because of what will later become known as human rights abuses. Although the movement ultimately failed, it set an important precedent for future Olympic boycott campaigns such as those in the 2008 and 2014.
Don't worry about it. Let me see that. We're going to end on that. That's what I wanted to bring out. It's a distraction. It's a propaganda. It's to confuse you, to take your mind away from that pain and that anger that you was feeling, that sorrow you was feeling because you lost your job. You ain't making the money you wanted to make. The injustice that's happening, George Floyd, this, that, and third, it take you away from all of that and to hide all of the things that we're doing. Let me get Jeremiah 23 and 25. Go ahead.
Lead Judges?
Uh-huh.
You gonna lead Judges?
Yeah. Jeremiah 23 and 25. Matter of fact, yeah, just go ahead and go there.
Jeremiah 26.
Jeremiah 23 and 25.
Got it.
Go ahead.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 23, verse 25. I've heard what the prophet said, that prophesy lies in my name, saying, I have dreamed.
Now again, we talk about what's happening and everything that's going on, like the sister said, secret societies and propaganda and all of these things that's going on, these mysteries. Some of these things can be very simple for us to understand. Some of these things can be very simple for us to understand and very just as easy as for us to combat. But you know why we can't combat it? You know why we can't overcome it? Tell me why.
Because we're distracted.
Because now we're not there right now. We're not there no more. Now, the distractions, it wouldn't be a distraction if we had this thing. If this wouldn't happen. If this wasn't happening, it wouldn't be a distraction. The propaganda wouldn't be effective to us. You understand? The humiliation we would not fall victim to if it wasn't for this thing. Read it again.
I've heard what the prophet said.
I've heard what the prophet said.
That prophesied lies.
That prophesy what?
Lies.
That prophesy what?
Lies.
That prophesy lies. That prophesy lies. That's the issue. The issue is the prophets of the Lord are lying to us. We don't need to hear from Kanye West. We don't need to hear from Shay Shay. You understand? We don't need to hear from Cat Williams. We need to hear from the prophets. But what are the prophets doing? They're lying. What are they saying?
In my name, saying, I have dreamed.
I have dreamed.
I have dreamed.
I have dreamed. While they having a dream about you and white kids and every kid coming together and shaking hands and loving each other and it being world peace, the reality is God doesn't want us to be equal with them. But they prophesy lies in the name of God and tell us that we going to do this together. This is God's will for us as God to love everybody. We all be together. We are being rocked to sleep by our prophets, by our priests, by the men who call themselves the priest of God. So no matter how much men we find behind that prison, it's going to be everything is going to be the problem, but us being integrated with these people. Everything is else the problem. It's something else. The warden, it's the system over here. It's one bad apple somewhere. It's not our oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of. It ain't that. Why? Because I have a dream that all these men and women, and no matter what color, black and white, is going to come together and have all of these things. Thus saith the Lord. When that is a lie. Now, because of that, because of those lies, we fall victim to the propaganda. We fall victim to the humiliation. We fall victim to the distract. We get distracted easily. That's the reason why. Because all of the things that the men of God are telling us puts us back into the society to try to conform to it and accept it and embrace it and look for hope in it and togetherness and love. But that's all they lie. Any more on that? Take me back to verse 1 in that same chapter. Take me back to verse 1 in that same chapter. This is why so many of us are just in it. We don't even understand. We're so distracted. We're falling victim to everything, humiliating ourselves, working extra hard and making sacrifices only to just be, get a pat on the back by the oppressor. Fight and shed tears and plow and dig and build and tear down, just to build back up again and tear down and build back up again just to get a pat on the back. It's all because of the leaders who are supposed to be giving us the most precious thing that we can ever have. The most precious thing that we can ever have as a people are in the hands of the prophets, and they choose to prophesy lies. And that's why we thank the Lord for the Isupk under Commander General Yohana, because we don't fold for the money game. We don't fold for fame. We don't fold for the love of our oppressors. We don't accept the king's commandments, to his silver and his gold, to be his friends. Instead, we make sacrifices for the Lord, and we will lose our lives and give our lives just like the 7 sons and their mother did in the Maccabees, in order to do what? In order to not forsake the covenant of our fathers, man. In order to not forsake the covenant of our fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, man. That's what we'll do in the Isupk, the real priests and prophets of God. And soon we will be the celebrities. We will be the celebrities. We are the military. We're the ones that are preparing for war. That's what we're doing in here. We're preparing for war. We're looking at all of these things. We know it's propaganda. We ain't distracted by it. We ain't going to humiliate ourselves. We see all the humiliation, and we're talking about it. We see the crimes. We're uncovering the crimes of our oppressors, and we're not forgetting about them either. We're not. We still talk about the transatlantic slave trade still to the day in 2023. Still bringing up old shit. Like how we say all the time, why you bringing up old shit? We're going to keep bringing it up because we ain't got justice for it. And that's what we doing in here. And it's going to take some time because, again, this device doesn't please our people. Because that spirit, that evil, wicked men are putting out, like Martin Luther King and T.D. Jakes, is a very enchanting spirit. It's very pleasing. You see what I'm saying? And it's a stronghold on people. So it's going to take time. It's going to take time. Out of 1,000, we're going to only find one. You understand? And only one going to enter in at a time. It ain't gonna be this great explosion thing, but yet and still, these men, these 1 out of 1,000 are mightier than 1,000. These women that out of 1,000 are mightier than 1,000. Are women that are like the Bible says. I found out of all the virtuous women, her virtuousness excels them all. See what I'm saying? She's greater than a lot of women. And that type of power and that type of light is how you just a little bit of light, just a little bit of brothers and sisters that are on this, that have this precious thing that the pastors that they don't want to give us. And we just have a little bit of brothers and sisters that have this great thing. We'll overthrow strongholds. We'll cause the fall of kings. We'll do it. And when the shit hits the fan and everybody is seeing how much sorrow they're really still in, living under this oppressor, they'll come running to us for protection because we're prepared for war. They'll come running to us in hunger because we're prepared for that as well. We become hunters. We become warriors, priests and officers, right? Priests and warriors. We prepare for war and we prepare for hunting as well. To go out and hunt, to feed our families, right? But more importantly, to go out and hunt the enemies of Christ. You understand? Go ahead and continue. Read what I asked for.
This is the book of Jeremiah, 23, verse 1.
Go ahead.
Woe.
It says what?
Woe.
It says what?
Woe.
Woe means destruction. Woe, go ahead. Destruction.
Be unto the pastors.
Be unto who? Why is it going to be woe unto the pastors? Tell me why. Yeah. Because they lied. Because they're liars. That's why. They're lying. And that lying is them. That lying is causing us to be weak. It's causing us to be subservient and docile and all and beat down. Because there's something that God gave us that would keep us from those things happening. But again, because they don't want to give it to us, because they rather play the money game, woe to them. Woe to the pastors. Go ahead.
Destroy and scatter the sheep of my pasture.
Yeah, they destroying us and scattering us, man. They're scattering us, man. We one day we call ourselves American, and we so scattered and lost. They say, Israel's going to war with Hamas, and we stand for Israel. Now we gonna go to war for Israel. They say Ukraine go to wars with Russia. They say we stand with Ukraine. Now we go to war for Russia for Ukraine. We don't have no real team. We don't have no real solidarity, no real nationalism. We gonna do whatever our oppressors say to do. We scattered all over the place, man, fighting for Africa, fighting for Europe, fighting for, Israel, for Paris, fighting for everything instead of our goddamn selves, man. And that's because of the lies of those pastors, and that's why they got to be destroyed. Because they scatter us and destroy us. And go ahead and continue to read, huh?
Said the Lord, the sheep of my pasture, said the Lord.
Go ahead.
Verse 2. Therefore, thus said the Lord, God of Israel, against the pastors that be my people. Ye have scattered my flock and driven them away.
That's right, driven them away. We don't even now look at the TD Jakes. TD Jakes, all his wickedness is starting to come out. And what's happening to his church? It's depleting. And where do you think they're going? Into the Isupk to serve the Lord? No, where they going? Yeah, to Islam. They're going to go join the NOI. They're going to go join the NOI. They're going to go join Rastafarianism, Taoism, or they're just going to most likely become spiritual now. I'm just spiritual. That's just what they're going to do. And spiritual just means you're God now. You just a God. You make up the rules. You just make up the rules. They scattering us, man, into all these different religions and all these different countries and different ideologies. They're scattering us, bro. We ain't putting up with what's going on in these churches or these mosques. They're going to go to the mosque and find out that that ain't it either. And then they're going to eventually end up in spirituality too. Go ahead and read.
You have scattered my flock
and
driven them away. I have not visited them.
And they don't visit us, man. As destroyed we are, we seeing Steve Harvey for a cry for help. You understand? They might not see it that way, but that's a cry for help. It's the money game. My father, my mother, and my son and my wife, they're gonna be destroyed if I don't do this, if I don't compromise my integrity. That's a cry for help. Cat Williams on that, this brother and that brother, and they putting on the dresses. That's a cry for help. He's crying for help. He's telling on everybody else that needs help, and it's all a cry for help. And what is the pastors doing? Not a damn thing. Not a damn thing. They ain't doing a damn thing. They're the reason why they in that position. The pastors are the reason why we in this position, why we distracted by the Super Bowl so much so that we can't never stand up for the plights and the attacks that's happening against us every day. The pastors are the reason why we even in a position to be treated unjustly by our oppressors. Because they said we're going to come together in the name of God, little white kids and little black boys. Right? And then next thing you know, Dylan Storm Roof is right next to you with a pistol unaliving you in that church. Because of Martin Luther King's dream. You getting unalive. Sisters is marrying, Caucasian boys, and they treating them like animals, making them bark and calling them the N-word in the relationship and beating them half to death because of the Martin Luther King dream that he had in the Lord's name. When the Lord says, come out from among them, that you be not partakers in their sins. That's what the Bible says. It says, come out from among them, separate from them, depart from her. All of these scriptures you can pull up, but we don't have that, and we only have the lies. Now that's why we're in those positions, and we can never focus on what's happening because of that. We're distracted, we're humiliated, we feel like this is the only way to live, this is the only way to make it. And that's why. And they don't visit us. They don't come to our aid. They don't see us putting on these dresses and say, hey, man, you shouldn't have to do that. You shouldn't have to do that for money. You shouldn't have to do that. Instead, T.D. Jakes is inviting, what's his name? Tyler Perry into the church and letting him teach sermons in the church. Tyler Perry, the biggest cross-dresser of them all. You understand? He's coming to the church, T.D. Jakes' church, to teach a whole sermon and pray over T.D. Jakes. And he's the pastor supposed to be. And that's the reason why. They don't come to you. These things are the reason why so many kids are coming up wild and unaliving each other and becoming criminals and prostitutes, and which is landing them into the graves or even into the cells. And do they come and visit you in them cells? No, man. So many millions of brothers and sisters are in that jail, and it's because of your pastors. Those people that's buried behind the prison are those same brothers and sisters that was in the prison because of your pastors, because of your religious leaders not telling you the truth. The one thing that we all need to be able to come out of oppression and to have the most glorious thing that we can't even imagine, which is the kingdom of heaven, man. Go ahead and read.
Behold, I will visit upon you the evil of your doings. And
the Lord's going to visit upon you the evil of your doings. So this is a class for the pastors and for the people. You can either be a part of the people that's being lied and manipulated and being distracted and humiliated, or you can come into the ISUBK and the Commander General Yohana and be able to get the most precious thing that your pastor does not want to give you, to be able to be free from all of that and save your lives, to be born again, or for the pastors who will continue to tell those lies and destroy our people, making them subject to the lies and the crimes of our oppressor. Or you can repent and tell the truth. Tell the people the truth, who you really are, what you really did, the covenants that you made, that you persuaded us to take, that the propaganda that you campaigned for our oppressor to convince us to be able to accept their society. which is absolutely against the culture that the Lord gave us. Or you can just be destroyed, and every evil thing that you've given be turned upon your head, like it just said right now. And that's in the name of the Lord. With that, we're going to pass the class over to Precinct Officer Taziar. Clap it up.
These are the ISUPK security announcements. We are the ISUPK started out of 1 West.
Now I'm laughing at something else, man. Look at this shit, bro. This is like Chinese to cook anything. ET on there, bro. Go ahead, man.
We are the ISUPK. It started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Root for your brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to the brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. You can find this in the book of Numbers, chapter 28, verse 21, in the book of Malachi, chapter 3, verses 8 to 10. Masharah means tenth in the Hebrew. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, free will, offering for priest, not mandatory, whatsoever amount you would like. Uphold the common convocations. Feast of Purim. This takes day on the 14th day and the 15th day of the 12th month, which falls on Thursday, 22nd February, and Friday, 23rd February, 2024. You can find this in the book of Esther, chapters 9, verses 20 to 31. Reminder to any brother that wants to be a trooper in the school, you're required to wear all black. It includes boots, shirt, pants, headband, and scarf. And that concludes the ISUPK security announcement.
All right, everybody in my gym, needs to stand. Sorry, turn to face the east. We'll do the Lord's Prayer, starting off in the Hebrew.
Abinau,
Shabbat Shemayim, Padah, Hayah, Shemka, Yahweh, Malakaka, Naba'ah, Batizai, Hayah, Aisha, Baratiza, Kawa, Hayah, Mashemayim, Thalanau, Makam, Kal, Yawam, Wasalakinau, Kabawatinau, Kabawatinau, Wala'ah,
Tabayanau, Panasayawan,
Sayawan,
Abab,
Abal,
Hawashayana,
Mayan,
Rai,
Kaya,
Laka,
Hamalakwa,
Wa'ala,
Wahala,
Wataparat,
Watapara,
La'awalanyu,
Aman. In the English, our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. And forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. Sorry, turn to face the front. We're going to do one courtesy salute for the brothers. Men of Israel, Madim Shabbat, Madim, Barak, Yahweh, Shemi Al-Shah, Bragatham, Yagi Matah, Sar, turn to face the sisters. Sisters can stand. We're going to do one courtesy salute for our sisters. Men of Israel, Madim Shabbat, Madim, Barak, Yahweh, Shema Al-Athah, Shemi Al-Shah, Yagi Matah. Class dismissed. Stop the class.